This video provides a brief overview of using RedJade to import descriptive analysis data and run that descriptive analysis data within the application. Once you log into RedJade, you will click the Analysis screen from the home page. Once the Analysis screen loads, you will click the blue Import Data button in the upper right-hand corner. You can either create a new project or select an existing project. Here I'm going to create a new project called olive oil. This would be my olive oil example, and I'll click Continue. I will now browse for my file. Here my file is saved on my desktop. I'm going to click that file and select Open. Please note that this is an Excel file that I am uploading into RedJade. I can name my sensory test. For example, this can be round 1. I select my data worksheet. Here I just have one worksheet in my Excel file called data. I select my repetition column. Here it's rep. My samples column. Here product. My subject is here subject. And my scale value is actually 60 in this case. So you can type in any integer value or select it from the 2 drop-down lists. I then select my first data column here, yellow color appearance. And I select where my modality is located. Here the modality is actually a suffix, not a prefix. You can see that it updates here. I can also select a sample worksheet. Here there isn't one, right? No other worksheets exist. And I can also select if it belongs to an existing panel that I already have here. For example, this is my chocolate panel. And I'm going to go ahead and I will import data by selecting the green Import button. RedJade will now import my data as well as run my descriptive analysis on that data. I am immediately able to see custom charts, PCA plot, subject charts, means including ANOVA calculations, correlations, and attribute details. The first thing you'll see here is that I have my custom charts. Here I have decided to denote double asterisks as being an attribute that indicates significance for that attribute. I'm showing all samples, and I can click on these ellipses to change things. So I can, for example, add a new chart, select a shaded region, which allows me to select samples and shade the area between those samples. I can copy a canvas and delete a canvas. As well, I can, for example, change all of my plots to a column. And here you can see that all plots are now changed to a column. And I can change individual plots as well. For example, I can change aroma back to a spider plot. I can also edit the chart. And here, for example, I can include or exclude specific samples or attributes. I also have the ability to include or exclude specific panelists for this specific analyses. Before I do that, however, I'm going to change all of my charts back to spider charts for simplicity's sake. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click the Participants tab. From the Participants tab, you can see that I have selected my chocolate panel, and now I can go in and I can map my panelists. For example, I can go down here and I can map Charles Berry to Charles Berry, David Fontana to David Fontana, Floyd Kramer to Floyd Kramer, so on and so forth for all of my panelists. I can also, for example, choose to exclude a panelist. This will automatically update my data with this panelist excluded and will run all of my data immediately with that panelist excluded. Again, I can click back on Participants. I can also look at my detailed panel performance data by clicking the View Panel button. This oftentimes takes 3 to 5 seconds to load. So you can see here that I now have my detailed panel performance data. I can scroll through. I can, for example, click on one of these attributes, crossover, It will jump me down to that section of the panel performance data over time. Again, remember, this panel performance data is across time. I can click on one person and I can look at how that person, here Tom Parker, performs across attributes. I can switch, for example, I can go to Charles Berry, and now Charles Berry's data is selected. Please note that the top of the panel performance data includes a summary of how your panel is performing. You can also click here on the hamburger and you can decide to include or exclude specific analyses within my panel performance across data summary. Now I can always go back by clicking the back button, and this will take me back to my panel. Again, I can always choose to re-include Charles Berry. Again, you are not deleting his data. You are just choosing to include or exclude that data in the analysis set. I'm going to click back on the file that I uploaded to show me an overview, again, of my custom charts, etc. I can change my analysis settings by clicking on the cogwheel next to Descriptive Analysis and selecting Analysis Settings. Here, I can decide all of my different calculations. I can choose post-hoc method, p-value, if I want to use interaction, etc. All of these options are available to you. I can also select this cogwheel and change my export settings. This allows me to include or exclude specific parts of the Excel sheet when I go to export my data. Again, you can choose what to include or exclude here as well. The final setting is panel performance settings. Again, you can choose how you would like to set up your specific analyses. And you can, of course, always reset your default. I'm going to select back on my file. It'll take me back to my custom charts. Now I have some additional things that I can do. I can click my PCA plot. This will show me my PCA for this project. Here, I'm looking at factor 1 verse 3, but I can just as easily look at factor 1 verse 2 or any set of factors that are available to me from the drop-down menus. From the subject charts, I can look at panel performance data for each attribute, for each panelist, for this specific test. This does not show panel performance over time, but shows panel performance for this specific test only. We'll wait a second here and let it load. My means table allows me to look at each attribute along with my post hoc analyses. Here you can see that we have our A's, B's, C's based on the analysis settings that I have selected. I can look at correlations. This is going to tell me how correlated attributes are to each other. For example, rough appearance and green appearance are correlated at 0.70. I can also look at attribute details, which allow me to select a current attribute. I can use the smart search functionality here as well. And it's going to show me very detailed attribute information here. You can see here there's several different plots that are shown, allowing you to really dig into your data and your panelist performance summary across all of your attributes. Again, you can search attributes in the box. For example, if I type herb, you can see herb aroma becomes available. I can click it, and now herb aroma is shown. I can go back to my original data set by clicking, and it'll take me back to custom charts. From this custom charts menu, I can also, for example, click on questions. What this allows me to do is to change or include or exclude specific attributes. For example, for clear appearance, which was the question text, I may want to change this to transparent. And this allows me to change the reporting functionality within RedJade. If I click back on my data, you'll see that now under custom charts for appearance, let's scroll to appearance. We'll click on appearance, that'll be faster. You can see now it says transparent in the window. I can also include or exclude samples by clicking on the samples button. And again, this will recalculate my data. I can change my chart color, so on and so forth to fully customize my plots. The last thing here that you can do is you can click download. This download here will export all of your analyses and charts based on the settings that you have chosen in the export section here. And this will download to Excel. You can always also download your raw data by clicking on the Export Raw Data button here. That is an overview of how you use the descriptive analysis import functionality within RedJade and how you can customize your analyses based on your parameters. Thank you very much.